My name is Alan Robbins, and I made a pact with the devil. I was born in north central Indiana. I was born into a very functional family, good family, Christian family. My dad's a pastor. I had a good childhood, I guess. I don't remember a lot of it though, because when I was 15, I was killed in a car accident. I was probably only really dead for a few seconds, I don't know, in the helicopter when they lifelined me. But once the paramedics brought me back, I was in a coma, and I woke up 7 days later. Like my whole system rebooted, and I had to start all over. And I remember the first couple months I had to learn how to walk again, and you don't really, I can't really explain what that's like. Anyone who has had to do that can understand it's really scary. To do something that you vaguely remember having done before, but you can't. So I remember kind of shaking, and I think it was my dad holding me and helping me. I was bracing myself against the walls trying to walk down the hallway. My legs were shaking and stuff, and I just couldn't make things work right, but I managed to do that. And of course it took a couple months of practicing that over and over and over, along with feeding myself and different things that take muscle motor skills and things. And the doctors and the people in the ward there said that I was progressing faster than normal, than I should have been, which I didn't realize at the time because I was kind of out of it. But I realize now it was totally God's hand on my life, and that was in the first couple months. And over the first couple years, though, was when I eventually gained most of my muscle motor skills back. I remember one time specifically, I learned how to play guitar, and trying to learn again was very frustrating because, like I said, music had become an important part of who I am, and my hand, you see, it still does it now a little bit. It tremors a little bit. I'm actually there. I got it to stop, but like it does that on its own. It used to be a lot worse. It used to be more like this, which I'm doing that on purpose. But so when I would try to play, my fingers would shake, and I was just so. Now it doesn't bother me because I'm used to it, but it would frustrate me, and I would bleed and cry, and just got to a point where I was, it was really upsetting because I couldn't do this, and it was part of my self-worth. Music was part of who I was to me, and so if I couldn't do that anymore, it just crushed me. So in the same way that my brain and my legs and arms didn't want to communicate, I also had a lot of trouble communicating my thoughts, like social interaction. And so that kind of course, turned me inward. Just like when I was a little kid, I would spend a lot, but then when I was a little kid, it was happy. Now it wasn't. I would spend a lot of time alone, reading. I did a lot of writing, like limericks, poems, little songs, things. I wrote a lot of like Nirvana style music, kind of trying to get my feelings out, to somehow understand myself through writing or something. I don't know. I turned to writing more and more the style of the things that I was reading. Like I said, I was reading a lot of Poe and other stuff, kind of creepy things in the dark type things, and I got to where everything I was writing was becoming darker and darker, and that became writing at all was the thing that I became proud of, is like the one thing I could do, because even if my hand didn't work and I could shake, I could still use this hand and I could write. If I couldn't write good music, at least I could still write good lyrics or good poems or good fiction or whatever. I was seeing what I could do, and the things that I could do of myself without God, because I'd gotten to a place where I hated God because I blamed Him for everything that happened, because I'd grown up learning about God and learning that He's loving and all these things. I'm thinking, apparently He doesn't love me, so all this happened to me, and like I said, is all rooted in feeling sorry for myself and focusing on self, and that in conjunction with the fact that I had this one thing I could do. I could write. I could create worlds on paper, and that was power, you know? It made me feel powerful. And so I was like, heck with God. I don't care if mom and dad taught me all this stuff, and if it's real or if it's not real, whatever. It probably is real. I don't care. And so I made a pact with the devil, and because I believed there was a devil, and so I decided I would talk to him, say a little prayer to him, or whatever you want to call it. So I remember I looked at the floor as if the devil was in the basement or something. I looked at the floor and I said, "You make me able to use my writing to do something, to make me matter, and you can have me." What first came out of that was I wrote a book, which I guess I kind of have to. My gift of writing obviously came from God. All good things come from God, but the devil wants to use everything and get his fingers in it and change it, make it for bad. So I kind of, sort of, have always in my mind at least given the devil credit for that book. I realized this was miserable. You know, I was always, that I'd made that pact with the devil. I shoved God away, so now I owed the devil. I had to do what he said or whatever. And I don't know, I was entrapped by that, and began hating myself and hating this fear I was living in. So I was like, I need something needs to change. And so after a few years, I decided I wanted to get away from the devil. I wanted to separate myself from the devil. And so I tried several different things, even tried exorcism, which didn't really do anything. I mean, I eventually, when I was a senior in high school, I just turned 18, and I gotten arrested for, I don't know, shoplifting or something. And but when they arrested me, I resisted arrest and I took off running, which was pretty stupid because my car wasn't far from there. And when they searched my car, they found all my drugs and my paraphernalia and stuff. And so when they did catch up with me and pin me down on the ground and handcuff me and take me away, I not only did I have to deal with the fact that I knew I had totally ashamed my parents and my family and the church that I'd grown up in and all that stuff, and I had to think about all that stuff that I wasn't even thinking about up until that point, but I had to think about it now because it was right there in my face. I also was facing a 25-year prison sentence for resisting arrest and drugs and everything. And so I was like, what am I going to do? And my life was like a mess. And so I went off to this little place out in the country, not far from where my parents, where I'd grown up. And I went out there and I was strumming my guitar and I was, again, crying, feeling sorry for myself. What am I going to do? And so, and I was strung out on coke, even though I already knew, because I knew I was already looking at prison, so I was like, what's the use? So I self-medicated again, and I don't really even remember for sure why, but there was a Bible there, my Bible that I had when I was a kid, and I don't know, just for some reason I reached over and grabbed it, and I picked it up, and it fell open in my lap to 1 Corinthians 13, and I started reading, and then I just really felt the presence of God there, and I'm like, I can't even explain what that felt like. And now that I'm a Christian, lots of times God talks to me intellectually, and I see things with my mind. I don't usually get these huge feely experiences, but this was like that. This time was when I was there alone. It's like God showed me through the love chapter in Corinthians 13. He showed me that even though I was a drug addict, and even though I was a thief, and even though I was a deviant, even though I I was in league with the devil even. He was saying, I still love you. You can't push me away no matter what. So you might as well get with the program, because I'm not going away. I'm not going to stop loving you. It doesn't, even if you tell me you hate me, I'm not going to stop loving you. So that was kind of what got my attention, got me back. Of course, everything didn't just become perfect after that. I mean, in a sense, God did kind of come in and sweep me off my feet and rescue me, but He allowed me to have to work through things, to learn from my mistakes. Some of the healing, some of the road back to sanity and peace and all the things that God's given back to me, He did miraculously. Some of it was like my prison sentence was reduced all the way down to, I just had to spend 2 years on probation. I mean, that's unheard of. That was absurd that the judge would have ruled that, but I think that was God. And there's other things where God has just kind of swept in and just bam, changed something. But for the most part, I think He's allowed me to walk through it like inch by inch, and through pain and through just the process of healing, and I think that's been an important part of who I am, is define me as a person, is every step of that process, and even the evil before it, all of it has come together and defined who I am as a person, and that's become kind of a paradigm, kind of the setting for a paradigm that I see the whole world with, even so much that my company, the Fifth Amendment, that's kind of my goal for my company, is to use whatever methods, different methods, media, literature, whatever I create, I want to use to help people see the importance of learning and growing and leveling up, and always, increasing in knowledge, not just knowledge. Obviously we want to grow in wisdom and learn about everything, about the world around us, learn about yourself, learn more about, obviously, who God is, self-examine and examine what they believe, and redefine paradigms. I think we can never just get set into, this is who I am, this is what I believe, this is what God is to me, these are my doctrines, this is what I feel about the world around me, this is how I relate to people, this is where I stay. I think we're wasting our lives when we do that. And so I think that's one of the most important things in life, is to always grow and always sharpen. After all that God has done for me, and all that He's brought me through and taught me, all that He's helped me to become, I see it kind of as my mission to do everything I can to affect change around me, whether it's just with my friends and family, or if one day maybe the things that I create in media and in literature could maybe even affect my country, or maybe even the world in some way. That's what I really want to do. I feel it's important that people learn and understand that it's not only a good thing, it's not just a benefit, it's a necessity to always progress in your mind and in your spirit, and to always grow and never just stay in one place and become stagnant. And so I think I pray that, and I'll probably always pray that that's something I'll be able to do, just so that I can, when I meet the Lord face to face one day, I can truly feel that I've done my part and I've made my Father happy.